So if you've heard of the Internet of Things, as quite a lot of you have, it will probably be around how the falling cost of computation and increased network connectivity is just making it cheaper and easier to connect all sorts of inanimate objects to the internet. In the latest edition of the Gartner Hype Cycle that's just been published, you'll see that the Internet of Things is at the peak, at the very top of the peak of inflated expectations. So there's a lot of kind of, hyperbole around what the Internet of Things is going to do. I'm more interested in how we can use technology to imbue kind of otherwise inanimate objects with sort of new behaviors and new capabilities. All of the things that I'm going to show you already exist in the world at the moment. And so, they're not all things that I've made, some of them are. And I've borrowed some from friends and other people I know. And hopefully I'll kind of show a bit of a vision of what the future could be like. Kind of in the middle of the morning, corner of her workshop is filled with bubbles. And that means that the Bubblino that she's got has found a new mention on Twitter of her company account. So she stops laser cutting, wanders over to the computer, and pulls up the tweet to see what it is and who, what the question, finds out that it's a question. And it's, a potential customer who wants to know if the red leather for her bespoke furniture is available before they place an order. So she, fires off a reply, yeah, that's cool, we've got the red leather in stock, so, there won't be any delay if you want to order something. A little bit later, there's a kind of ding ding from a bell that's sat next to the Bubblino. And that can only mean one thing, that there's been a sale on her online store, and this is notifying her of the fact. And so maybe it's that person who'd asked a question on Twitter before that she's responded to. And maybe it's not, and who cares? It's a new sale, and that's something to celebrate. And as he comes in, he spots that the Ugly owl, that you didn't get to see earlier, has moved around to grey, and he knows that means that Sarah's suggesting that they go out for tonight, somewhere to kind of, to celebrate or something. Let's go out, let's not stay in tonight. So he pulls up the listings to see what's going on. And he finds that there's an interesting looking performance happening at the Casimir, a club in town. So when Sarah gets home later on, they have some food, and then it's like, cool, we'll head out there. Let's go to the Casimir. And they have a great night, because there's a trapeze artist who has a heart rate monitor clipped to her earlobe. And so as she gives the performance, that's gathering data about her heart rate. And that's being fed into the music that's accompanying the performance. But it's also being fed back to the suit that she's wearing and changing the colours of it so that it glows and just adds to the kind of magical effects of the whole kind of ensemble. So they have a great night, they're celebrating the new sale, and then they soon kind of, have to head home, and they collapse into bed. And then Sarah leans over and turns out her bedside lamp. Over in the States, it's early evening, and Sarah's mum, who's got the companion goodnight lamp, sees the light go out. And she knows that means that Sarah's got home and has turned the light out in the UK, and that she's home and safe and, turning in for the night. But as well as a book, you often also need other people to work with on this, and maybe new tools to play around with. And so this is another area that's kind of growing at the moment. So this is a picture of the workshop in Does Liverpool, which is a co-working space and maker space that I co-founded over in Liverpool. And these sorts of maker spaces, or sometimes hack spaces, or fab labs, are springing up all over the place now. And I just wanted to kind of, bring your attention to one that's happening here in Barnsley. As Greg said earlier that, you don't know what two kids in a garage in Silicon Valley are kind of thinking of doing. Well, screw Silicon Valley. Like, what are two kids in a maker space in Barnsley going to do? They've got as much opportunity and ability to kind of shape the future as anybody anywhere else in the world. I'm sure you'll all have different ideas based on your businesses and your lives and what things and how technology might be able to help improve that. it's still quite early days with the Internet of Things. It feels like the web was kind of in the 90s. You know, there's loads of people experimenting with it, and loads of stuff where it looks like, there's obviously it's going to change everything, but nobody knows exactly how.